Hey Carson, thanks for taking the time today. We'll get started here with Dave Zangaro and then Tim McManus.
Hey Carson, how's it going?
Not bad, hanging in there.
Good. You guys obviously had a very different evening last night, talking about racial and social injustice. What were those conversations like, and have you gained a new perspective recently on those topics?
Yeah, I mean the conversations were good. It's a lot of guys, myself included, have heavy hearts. Have heavy hearts, and there's a lot of hurt in this world, a lot of evil in this world, and it's a lot of guys showing empathy, a lot of guys personally hurt or affected, and so just the open dialogue is healthy. Being able to whether go through it together or be there for each other. We always talk about a family. We always talk about a brotherhood in the locker room, but just establishing that, hey guys, this isn't just about football. This is about off the field. This is about caring for each other's families and friends, and as true brothers. So, not to get into the details of the conversations, but it was good, and it's something that is going to be continued, and we'll see some things come to light through it, hopefully. But just understanding each other's perspectives is a great place to start.
Tim and then Zach Berman.
Carson, how have the last few months changed you in that respect, both the events that have been going on in the world and then the dialogue that you've had with your teammates?
Yeah, it's been a lot of learning, and a lot of conviction on my heart, honestly. Growing up in North Dakota, and I'm sure a lot of you saw my statements after the George Floyd murder, and so it's something that's kind of new, and it's something that I've chosen to kind of just overlook and look past because of I went to high school. I think I had just a couple black classmates, and it's something that was so foreign to me. And so really this off season, I took a real look into showing empathy and understanding what has it been like to be a black man in this world, in this country, and not just in today's world, but going back 400 years to now and how we got to this point. And so it's been being educated a lot and looking at it through a different lens for me. And, a lot of things I've learned, and by no means do I have all the answers or I have it all figured out, but it's really heavy on my heart, and, a lot of guys' hearts in this locker room for sure.
Zach and then Damo.
Hey Carson, so you personally, as a franchise quarterback with your platform, and then the team collectively, obviously with the social justice committee, what can you do to actually have change here?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's a question that we're all talking about constantly. I think there's so many layers to the problem in our country, the problem in our world, and it's more than just what you see on the news. It's more than what you see on TV. There's too many evil hearts. There's too many things that are ingrained in our culture, going back 400 years to now, that are just ingrained in people's culture and mindset without a lot of people even knowing it. So it's hard to really put your finger on, okay, this is how you create change. But I do know that we're talking about okay, we can't solve all the problems, but where can we really focus our efforts? Where can we, is it physically getting out into the community? Is it financially supporting an area? Is it, bringing light to a certain topic or a certain issue that needs to have a voice, so to speak? And so I can't really put my finger on one thing right now. We have a committee meeting, coming up here, and, we're going to talk through a lot of those things, but it is something that we want to see real change. And, I know the NBA and, everyone's using their platform to create that change, and some fans might not like it, but at the end of the day, there's a hurting community, and we want to reach out and respond to that hurt.
Damo and then John McMullen.
Yeah, Carson, if I might ask a football question. We're about 2+ weeks away from the start of the season. Compare this and where you think this offense is right now to previous years when you've had preseason games to work, springs to work on things. Do you expect this offense to be sharp come week one?
I do. I do expect this offense to be sharp. Like like we've been discussing, I mean, we're in a pandemic. We're in a crisis in our country with social injustice and just so many things going on. So there's so many layers to, just emotions and, everything on the field gets affected by that. But I think guys have handled it well and, are open and honest and are open to having those conversations that I think once we do get on the field and we do have those meetings, I think guys are able to compartmentalize and go out and play and have fun. And, I think we'll be in a good place here in a couple weeks.
John, and then Ruben Frank.
Hey, Carson, you mentioned empathy, and obviously your position almost by nature demands leadership. In a way, did that help you kind of realize that maybe you had to listen to some other voices and take a more proactive approach?
I think for sure. I think, I'm growing up. I'm no longer just a kid from North Dakota that can just kind of use that card. Like, there's hurting in this world. And, for me, as a follower of Christ and, looking at his example through the Bible, I mean, he ran to the people that were oppressed. He ran to those that were hurting. And, that's our example. That's my example. That's who I look to. And so for me, it's how can I be a helping hand? I don't have to fix it. I don't have to have all the answers, but how can I show empathy and how can I, reach out to those that are oppressed and hurt? And so again, I don't have all the answers. I don't have the solutions, but I have a voice that can share where there needs to be a voice. And I have ears that can listen and truly care when there's hurt going on.
Rube and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Carson, like you alluded to a minute ago, there's going to be that segment of fans that thinks, these guys need to just shut up and play football, play basketball, whatever the case may be. What do you say to people that don't think athletes should use that platform for what you guys are using it for?
Yeah, I think, first of all, everyone has their own opinion and is entitled to that opinion. But at the end of the day, athletes have a unique platform, have the ability to reach, a lot of people that usually wouldn't get reached, and have a voice to speak for, the communities that are oppressed and whatever different causes are near and dear to, each guy's heart. And right now with everything going on in our world, this is what's at the forefront. And so I think for guys to just sit back and not speak out, it would probably come across as, insensitive and, not caring about this world. And so there's hurt. I keep saying that, and it's heavy on my heart. And we can't just sit by and stay idle because of this is just how it's been. This is just another thing. That's not the case. I realize it's not going to just snap our fingers and we have, change and have all our issues figured out tomorrow. But, it's something that we can start addressing publicly and creating those conversations and education so that we can begin the process of healing and the process of creating change in this country that is much needed.
Jeff McLean and then Martin.
Sorry about that, Carson. Rich Scangarella has been a proponent of the left foot forward in a shotgun stance that Kyle Shanahan and his dad were always proponents of and taught a lot of their quarterbacks. So you have been a right foot forward guy, and Rich said that obviously at this point in your career there'd be no sense in trying to change you. But was that anything that was though discussed? And what has Rich, what has your relationship been with Rich thus far, and over these first few months and getting to know him, and what kind of insight and advice has he given you?
Yeah, I mean, all due respect, I'm going to keep this answer short because I'm trying to focus on the social justice issues right now. But Rich has been great, great to work with. He understands my game, and I think we've worked together pretty well so far, and I'm excited to keep growing with him.
We have time for a few more guys, so let's go Martin, Kristen Rogers, and Bo Wolf.
Hey, Carson, when we talked to Jalen earlier, he said there was really no talk about not practicing today. In your mind, did you think maybe you shouldn't practice? And if so, how did it feel when you were practicing? I mean, did it feel any different? Like, was there any kind of wonder in your mind?
Yeah, I think, we all saw it yesterday with, NBA games being postponed or canceled and, postponed and practices being canceled for other teams. And, I don't know if it fully crossed our minds, but I think having that meeting last night, being able to address the situation so that we're not just pretending it didn't happen. Coach had the courage to stand up and address it and, kind of have an open floor microphone and let people explain and express their feelings. And so I think guys felt, that was, I don't want to say good enough, but that definitely was something that needed to happen so we could come out today. And I know I had a heavy heart coming in this morning after, a lot of conversation last night. And, I think a lot of guys had a lot on their heart, but, we're able to go kind of escape and practice and go for 2 hours and then come back in and, here we are again having conversations, and it's great and it's healthy. So I don't think anyone questioned Coach's, ability to keep, having practice, but the way he's orchestrated meetings and giving us some extra time to talk about these things and giving us the platform to share, I think has been huge. And I think we're all in support of that.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Hey, Carson, to that point of Doug, Jalen was talking about some of the messaging that Doug gave you guys and led that conversation yesterday. I'm curious what you've seen from his leadership in these last few months and especially right now on this important conversation.
Yeah. We had a really, I don't know the word, really dynamic conversation in the spring. It was all virtual with meetings and everything going on, but we had a really dynamic meeting then about social justice in response to the George Floyd tragedy. And, those conversations have been ongoing, and seeing Coach be willing to go there, to have those conversations, to show to all of us that it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to be hurting. It's okay to express your feelings and your opinions. The way he did, I think, was encouraging for me to see, and for a lot of guys to see that, okay, we can have these conversations. This isn't something we need to just hush because we're at our workplace. This is something that intertwines with who we are as a team, as a family, because if one member of your family's hurting, we're all hurting, and we should all be there to care and reach out for each other. So Coach has been really good about understanding that.
We'll wrap it up here with Bo, and then we'll get Rodney in here.
Hey, Carson, earlier this summer, you signed that petition to end qualified immunity. Can you tell us about that decision? And, as you've listened to guys and learned this summer, how has the way that you look at policing evolved?
Yeah. First and foremost, I have a lot of respect and love for police officers. I think that is something that I do feel bad for sometimes how they're treated in a lot of these cases, but the fact of the matter is, one bad one, and it's all bad, at the end of the day. And so, I've often used the analogy: if there's one bad flight attendant for American Airlines, for example, that's leading to a lot of deaths. And so, even if 99% are great, you can't have one bad one. So I don't envy their position. They're put in a lot of high stress situations. So I don't know the answer on that. I do think there needs to be something done as far as potentially education and how the training looks, and maybe, it's a little harder to be, out on the street, because the fact of the matter is you have as a police officer, you're carrying a weapon, and you have life and death in your hands sometimes. And that is a big task. That is a tall task, and it's not meant for everybody. So I don't want to come off like I'm bashing them or anything, but you can't have one or two bad ones that end up in creating deaths for communities, and really inflicting that pain. They have a high stress position, like I said, and at the end of the day, people do things wrong. Some of these situations, maybe the victim has handled them wrong, but they don't deserve to die on the street because of what they've done. And so it is heartbreaking, and there is something that needs to be changed, but I don't fully know what all those answers are right away, but it's something that I'm continuing to learn and educate myself on.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time today, Carson.
Thank you, guys. God bless.